All right, everyone. This is Mr. Lamb, and this is our Unit 2 test key. And as you guys know, I'm not at school today, so hopefully you're taking this opportunity to work through your test. And if you have any questions after these videos, please don't hesitate to ask. Make sure you're letting me know and give us a chance to go over this so you know what it is that you want to work on and what you need to improve on as we move forward. So, this first video is the video, and I'm going to cover all of the multiple choice questions. So I'm going to start with question number 1. Each one of the multiple choice questions, by the way, are worth 1 point apiece, so all of them are 1 point. So in this first one, it says in the figure, what definition best supports? Notice the word best. Which one best supports the following statement? And there are 2 of them that are really, really good answers, but there is one that is a little bit better. Looking at the picture, how do you know that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 180? Well, is it by the definition of complementary? No. And nowhere in this does it say anything about complementary. And actually, complementary means it adds up to 90 anyhow. For B, the definition of adjacent angles, these 2 things are adjacent. That can be seen because they do share a common side, but there's nothing about adjacent angles that say that it adds up to anything. So those 2 are pretty easy to eliminate. Now the third and fourth ones, the definition of supplementary versus the definition of linear pair. So if I would have said angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary, then you can say that they add up to 180. That is the definition of supplementary. However, you are given a picture. So what I want you to understand, this is what is given. The picture. That's it. The only thing you know is the picture, and that is a picture of a pair of linear pair angles. So that means that definition of linear pair is why those 2 things add up to 180, because that is a linear pair. Not because you know they're supplementary, because are they? Yes. I completely agree. They are supplementary. However, that is by the definition of linear pair, because the picture, the only thing you're given, shows you a picture of linear pair angles. So that one was tricky. If you picked C, you picked the best wrong answer. Question number 2. In this figure of the protractor, which angle is a right angle? Okay, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of subtraction here. So CQF. So let me mark this. CQF. So as I take a look at that QC ray is over there at 160. And the QF ray is at 50. 160 minus 50 is 90. That is a right angle. So boom, I'm done. Now, I will pick another one just to show you one of the other ones. AQB. Well, AQB is across the bottom. That's an easy one. That's 180. Let's do C. CQF. CQF. I'm sorry. That is 160 minus 70 is 90. CQF. So the ray over there, QC, is at 160 minus the QF ray, which is 50. That equals 110. Glad I caught that. And then the last one, DQF. So D down to Q and then over to F. The DQ ray is at 120. The QF ray is at 50. 120 minus 50 is 70. And you're just looking for the one that adds up to 90. So that way you have a right angle. Number 3, which property illustrates the statement? If Km is equal to Lm, then KL equals Lm. So something equal to itself. When something is equal to itself, that is reflexive. That is the property called reflexive. Numbers 4 and 5 are based on the proof. And it gives us that angle CBD is equal to angle BFE. And then it wants to know, why does CBD, this angle, and DBF, this angle, why do those two angles add up to 180 degrees? And that is because it's a straight line. That's a linear pair. So I'm looking for maybe definition of linear pair or the linear angle theorem. Right? Linear angles theorem. So that is D. If you picked B, again, like number one, that is the best wrong answer that you could pick. That is the best wrong answer that you could pick. And then the last one, what reason should be used for statement 3? Well, as I look at this, if CBD is equal to BFE, so I'm looking here in this line, there we go, sorry. CBD and BFE are equal. So what I'm going to do out of line 2, I'm going to take out the CBD and I'm going to replace it with the BFE right there. Everything else stays the same. That is a clear-cut choice substitution. That one is pretty cut and dry. That is substitution. So those are your first 5 points of multiple choice. And go ahead and turn it over to the back. And what characteristics are true for adjacent angles? And we need to select all of them that apply. And you had to get just the right ones. If you had the right ones plus more, this did get marked wrong. So what characteristics are true for the adjacent angles? There are 2 things on here that are true. Do they have a common vertex? Yes, they do. Adjacent angles, let me draw a picture of some adjacent angles. So this angle and this angle, angles 1 and 2 are adjacent. All right, they're side by side. Do they have a common vertex? Yes, they do. Right there is the common vertex. Do they have opposite rays from the common vertex? No, they don't. And let me explain why. If this is the vertex and this is the first ray, opposite rays means that it has to go in the exact opposite direction. All right, and make up a straight line. That is opposite rays. And as you can tell, my angle over here on the right, all right, as I look over here, these are adjacent, but they're not opposite. Right? This ray here that's now in green and the ray down here in purple, those are not going off into opposite directions. So that is not one of the options. Do adjacent angles have exactly one common side? Yes, they do. This side in the middle, the red side. All right, that is the common side. Do adjacent angles have to be complementary? Do they have to add up to 90? No, they don't have to. And in this picture, they don't. And do they have to add up to 180? No, they don't. So you had to circle A and C only. A and C only. Question number 7 wants to know angle 2 and angle 4. They have a special name. These are called alternate because one is on the right side and one is on the left side of my transversal. Let me highlight my transversal here just so you can see it. All right, there is the transversal. All right. One is on the right side, one is on the left side. They are both inside the parallel line, so these are alternate interior angles. Answer choice A. For B, says lines 1 and 2 are parallel. This is important. They are parallel, so I have a lot of angles that are going to be congruent. Select all that are true. So are 2 and 8, those are alternate exterior angles, so yes, alternate exterior angles are congruent. How about 1 and 8? 1 and 8. Those are no special type of angles, so no, those are not congruent. 2 and 3, those are a linear pair. Those are a linear pair, so they add up to 180. They are not congruent. 1 and 5. 1 and 5 are corresponding angles. They are congruent. And then 3 and 5. Those are alternate exterior angles, and they are congruent. So you needed to fill in 3 of them and leave 2 on blank. A, D, and E, and you had to leave B and C blank. And then the last two, questions 9 and 10, using the same picture, and we're going to do two different things. So in the first one, we're talking about angles 1 and 3, vertical angles. And I know that vertical angles are congruent. So that means I will take my angle 1, 2x plus 13. And I'll take angle 3, which is 4x minus 15. And I will set them equal to one another. And again, I'm doing that because they are vertical angles, and vertical angles are congruent. So doing your math, add 15 to both sides. 2x plus 28 is equal to 4x. Subtract 2x on both sides. 28 equals 2x. Divide by 2, and 14 is x. So 14 is x. And then the second one says, what is the measure of angle 4? What is the measure of angle 4? Well, in order to find angle 4, I want to go ahead and find angle 1 or angle 13. So angle 1 says 2, so the measure of angle 1, let me put this up here. Measure of angle 1 is equal to 2 times the x value, which I know is 14, plus 13. Well, 2 times 14 is 28, plus 13 is 41. So this angle up here is 41 degrees, and this angle down here is 41 degrees. So if I want to find the measure of angle 4, the measure of angle 4 plus the measure of angle 1, which is 41, has to add up to 180 because it's a linear pair. So the measure of angle 4 then will be 180 minus 41, which is 139. So that is answer choice C. That is it, and that takes care of the multiple choice section. And in the next video, I'll do all the extended response.